What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the PrizePicks Picks Show Saturday edition. We've got early baseball today starting at 4 o'clock, and we've got NBA playoffs starting in the middle of the afternoon, 3:30, I believe. So should be a really, really fun day of sports. Hopefully we can make it extra fun with some PrizePicks wins. Now, we are live here, so I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to kind of join in here with us. But I will say ahead of time, as we wait for everybody to come in, the FTN subscription is getting even better. We just started today posting a 6-pick play already in the Pick'em Discord that anybody can tail. You can either tail it fully, you can use the individual picks within those plays to help build your own plays, whatever you want. But the key is we're going to be doing more and more of that in the future, which also means the subscription is going to be more valuable because a lot of those picks are going to be very quickly taken off the board. We've already had one of them taken off the board. I think that's going to be a pretty common theme for us as we continue to grow in popularity. And PrizePicks is a little bit wary of, hey, what's this group that keeps putting in a bunch of plays all at the same time, and they keep taking our money. So they're going to take those plays down faster and faster, which means you're going to want to be in the Discord even more than you already do. And along those lines, I think it's an important point to make. We're more affordable than ever, but we also understand, look, not everybody has an extra $250 laying around for that annual subscription, which makes the subscription only $21 a month. Or you can go VIP for $25 a month. Not everybody has that just extra cash laying around. So if you are somebody who would be signing up for the monthly subscription around $40 a month, I can pretty much guarantee you that at least over the long run, that subscription is not only going to pay for itself, it's also going to help you build a bankroll. Even if you're somebody who's only playing like $10 a day on PrizePicks, we can help you build that up. So come NFL season, you're playing more and more, and you're having that much more fun. We'll be crushing MLB season all summer, and Zach is going to be crushing WNBA picks all summer as well. He might even be better at WNBA than NBA, if you can believe it. We're at 61.5%. He might fly past that in the WNBA season. They are not as prepared to set good WNBA lines as they are for the NBA and baseball. So that's going to be an absolute blast. Now, let's jump into the picks today. You can see I've brought up the strikeouts over on the MLB PrizePicks tool, and we've got two that really stand out to me. So the first, Joey Estes, 4.5 is his projection. We've got him at 3.78. Somebody who really ineffective in the minors, now making the jump to the majors. Really don't see him working deep into this game, which is why we are really shading this towards the under. We've got it at 66% to go less than 4.5 strikeouts. He's going to have to work deeper into this game. I think this would be 3.5 if it were almost any team other than this strikeout-heavy Seattle team. But the thing is, he's got to actually get people out, and he's got to face enough batters to get to this number. We don't see it happening. So I like starting there. But I'd also point out, we can see John Means here. We've got him projected at 4.5. He's at 4. But unlike some of these other guys who are at 4, like Ryan Feltner, like James Paxton, like Mason Black, his demon isn't 5.5. His demon is also 4.5. So we can go ahead, we can use the tool, we can put in 4.5 and see where that is at. See, 48.2% for a demon. That's spectacular. Most demons, as I've said before, like the turning point is usually around 38, 39%, 37%, somewhere in there where you end up wanting to use that and boost a play from 25 to 38x. 48% is phenomenal. So we absolutely love this as a demon. If you don't want to go to the demon, he was originally 3.5 this morning, which is why I think his demon remains at 4.5. What you can do is instead go over to the fantasy points, and you can see John Means 25.5 projects quite well. We've got him projected over 28, 61% to hit as a one-off. So many of you are probably already familiar. Basically, all of my PrizePicks plays fall into one of 3 categories. They're either a one-off, they're a demon, or there's some correlated pair. And often the correlated pair also uses one of the demons. Every single play that I make on PrizePicks is 6-pick we're 38x using only one demon. So we've got to kind of game correlation, but not over correlate to the point where they penalize us. So we're always looking for these one-offs. We're always looking for demons. You can use means here as the 4.5 strikeout demon, in which case you don't have to get another demon, or you can just use him as a one-off here in the fantasy points if you have another demon that you like. Speaking of, I'm going to stay in this exact same game, go to the Orioles versus the Diamondbacks here. Hits plus run plus RBI. Now, this is where the tool really shines. This is where it becomes so incredibly powerful and helpful because we've got two Orioles here at the top. Now, if we put both of these guys in, you can see, okay, a 30.2% win probability for both of these, 55%, 54%, pretty decent correlation, not anything crazy. Now, we could also go over to fantasy points, and you see there are a bunch of other hitters here. Mountcastle, Rutschman, Henderson. So we can go ahead and we can put all these guys in. And I like to do this just to see, number one, okay, where are they individually? So you can see like Mountcastle, his 6.5 fantasy points, very, very comparable to the 1.5 hits plus run plus RBI for O'Hearn. Wish these would go a little bit faster. Sometimes when we add in a bunch of these, it can get slowed down. So let's go one at a time. Let's put Rutschman back in there. You can see, okay, 52%, but he also has the potential to tie there at 7. So I don't really like that one. So I'm going to take Rutschman out, and I'm going to check it for Gunnar Henderson. 7.5, 52.5%. So again, pretty clear here. All right, I want O'Hearn and Mountcastle. What happens now to the overall probability? Remember the O'Hearn and who was it? Santander? Was it 1.5? We'll go back to it, but 32%. So this pair is a little bit better, but I kind of want a demon here. So how do I go and find what's the best demon? We can't put Mountcastle in there, but we can use O'Hearn or Santander. So check this out. If I go with Santander as the demon, this goes to 23.2%. Santander, 42.3%. So again, this is a really, really strong demon, made even stronger by the fact that we can correlate it. Now, if I went Santander and Mountcastle, let's see what this does. 23.8%, so potentially even a little bit stronger. If instead of Santander, I went to O'Hearn, whoops, notice it goes down a little bit because he's only 39.7%. So we've got Santander as clearly the guy with the better chance to get to that demon. Again, it's just his distribution. Remember, he was actually slightly less likely to hit the 1.5 hits plus run plus RBI than these guys. And actually, if I went back to this, you can really see that down to 21.7% now because Santander is the less likely to get to 1.5, but he's also the most likely to get to 2.5 because that's his distribution. When he is hitting 1.5, he's also hitting 2.5 far more often than O'Hearn is doing that. So love using the tool this way to find the best demon pairs. So for me, it's going to be Ryan O'Hearn, 1.5 with Santander, 2.5. I don't even need to type that in. Just go right there. This is my demon pair, 23.2%. And actually, I think this is more correlated than this estimate here. This is basically just saying that, hey, Santander is going to get there with home runs so often that it's not quite as correlated as you would think, but there are still other paths where Santander could get there in large part because of what O'Hearn does in front of him. If you wanted to go Santander and Mountcastle, I think that's also very much in play, which would also then be 4 and 5 in the order instead of 3 and 5. So both of these I think are really strong, 23.8% instead of the 23.2. So both of these work quite well. I really don't have a strong lean either direction, but you can see, I think the key here is this is how you use the tool to make really, really sound decisions, particularly with these demons, which again is where PrizePicks themselves are going to have the most trouble setting really strong lines. So that's when we want to take advantage as much as possible. Now, the next place that I went over to outs, and we've got Jake Irvin, his heavily shaded towards the less than. Not 100%. Let's put that back in, see what happens. This, if I recall correctly, was around 65%. So it might not load for us in this exact moment, but there's something you can do here that works really, really well with Irvin. You can see they're facing the Red Sox. So I'm not going to give away the answer, but I would say go to the Red Sox game, look at hits plus run plus RBI, look at fantasy points, click around, and just take note of the correlations that you find. In the meantime, we're going to go over to the NBA side of things now, and we're going to find some more one-offs. We've got a couple really good ones. Many of you probably already know I love to shop around in the turnover department, and we've got some options here today. Tim Hardaway Jr., still there, 72.7%. We hit this last time. He's not going to play, anything more than 20 minutes, maybe max. And he's not a high turnover guy because he's a catch and shoot guy. It's a lot harder to turn the ball over when as soon as the ball touches your hands, a shot's going up. So we absolutely love this one. Surprised it's still here, which leads me to a really exciting announcement. I kind of teased this in the last few days, but we can now officially say we have made the update that once PrizePicks takes a pick down, it will no longer show up on the tool. Great example of that is the pick that we have already gotten taken down today, Jason Tatum, less than 2.5 turnovers. They did replace it, though, with Jaylen Brown, less than 2.5 turnovers. It's a very similar argument. Brown does turn it over more than Tatum, especially in the playoffs, because he can't dribble the ball, especially when he goes left. But still at 59% here, not to turn the ball over at least 3 times. And it's the same concept. It's just Boston doesn't turn the ball over. Cleveland doesn't create turnovers from their opponent, and the pace as a whole is just way down in this postseason. And Boston really hasn't turned it over at all in this postseason either. So we really like this one as well. It's a good substitute for Tatum. It's not quite as good. Tatum, I think, was around 63, 65%. Definitely agree that he's less likely. So it's a bummer if you weren't able to get in on the Tatum number. Brown's number is fairly good as well. And then we also like going to Wiggins. You can see only in the tool as more than 7.5 points. He's also available 10.5 points plus rebounds, which is one that Zach likes even more than this points number. But this in and of itself is pretty solid, 53.5%. So going with that combination, giving him more paths to success, it's probably closer to 60%. And remember, this tool is factoring in the uncertainty of, okay, what is his role actually going to be? Zach and I both a little bit more confident than the tool itself that Wiggins is going to continue to play as much as he has so far in the series, that he's just a much better fit on the court than Josh Giddey to help defend these Dallas guards. And also because one of the strategies that Dallas has used so far in the series is just leave Giddey open for 3. He's either going to miss them or he's not even going to take them. That makes him even less valuable on the court. So we think Wiggins is going to continue to play more. So we think that this one's more like 60%. The points plus rebounds combination is more like 65%. So a lot to like there as well. See, I think that will probably do it for us here. Anything else worth going over? It looks like Kenneth has just posted a bunch of NHL plays as well. So lots to check out in that Discord. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will catch you next time. Happy Saturday.